If you died today, there's a very high chance you would not be buried 6 feet underground. That rule was never real. And the reason people believed it for centuries comes from fear, disease, and one of history's biggest misunderstandings. Most people have heard the phrase, 6 feet under. It sounds official. It sounds precise. And almost everyone assumes it's how burials have always worked. But the truth is far less simple. In this video, we'll explain where the idea of 6 feet under came from, why it spread around the world, and how human remains are actually buried today. The idea of 6 feet under feels believable because it's repeated everywhere. Movies use it. Books reference it. Everyday language reinforces it. When something is repeated often enough, the brain stops questioning it. It becomes common knowledge, but common knowledge isn't always correct. And in this case, it wasn't based on science at all. The idea traces back to 17th century Europe, during outbreaks of plague. At the time, people didn't understand bacteria or viruses. They believed disease spread through bad air and strong smells. So when mass deaths occurred, deeper graves were seen as a way to protect the living. In some cities, temporary guidelines suggested digging graves deeper than usual. 6 feet became a rough suggestion, not a rule. There was no global law. No medical evidence. Just fear and urgency during the crisis. Even during that time, 6 feet was rarely practical. Graves were dug by hand. Soil varied from place to place. Some areas had rock, clay, or high groundwater. In many regions, digging 6 feet meant hitting water. Or risking collapse. So most graves ended up much shallower, even centuries ago. The phrase survived. The practice did not. Modern burial practices are not based on tradition. They're based on regulation and engineering. In most countries today, graves are typically 4 to 5 feet deep. The burial container is covered by about 3 feet of soil. The exact depth depends on local laws, soil stability, environmental safety, cemetery design. Many cemeteries use burial vaults, concrete containers that prevent ground collapse. Depth is calculated carefully, not guessed. It's easy to assume deeper means safer. But that's not true. Deeper graves increase collapse risk, trap water, create instability. Shallower, regulated burials are easier to maintain, protect nearby land, reduce environmental impact. Modern cemeteries are designed systems, not random plots of land. Safety comes from design, not depth. So why does the belief still exist? Because language is powerful. Modern burials typically range from 4 to 5 feet deep, influenced by local laws and environmental safety, not an arbitrary 6 feet. Join us to uncover the surprising truth behind burial practices and learn how language shapes our beliefs. Don't just follow common knowledge, question it. Once a phrase enters culture, it can survive long after the truth changes. People trust familiar wording, authority-sounding numbers, repetition over evidence. 6 feet under sounded exact. So it felt true. And no one bothered to question it. Human remains are no longer buried 6 feet underground because they never truly were. The phrase survived, not because it was accurate, but because it was memorable. And it's a reminder that many things we accept as fact are often just ideas passed down, unquestioned. This channel explains common myths, misunderstood facts, and how things really work. Thanks for watching.